Hi, second grade Miss Fryvogel here. Today you will need a pencil and a notebook or a piece of paper for our lesson. We're going to be talking about visualizing today. When you read fiction, you can use the text and illustrations to form pictures in your mind. This is called visualizing. Visualizing the characters, setting, and events can help you better understand the story. So visualizing is kind of creating a picture in your mind based on what you are reading. It helps you understand and see the story better. Here are some ways that we can visualize. Number one, we can look for words to help you visualize the characters, settings, and events. Maybe there's some adjectives that talk about the character's hair and helps you see that character better. Or maybe the color of the sky is said in the text. Or maybe the room that the person is in is described. All of these things can help you get a visualization or a mental picture in your head of the story. Number two, you can visualize details from illustrations. Looking at illustrations is always a good way to help you sort of have an idea and picture the story in a different way. And number three, always change your mental image as you keep reading in the story. Maybe you think the main character has brown hair, but as you keep reading, they've mentioned that the character has black hair. So that means you have to change or adjust your mental picture as you read the story so that it is accurate. Okay, we're going to look through. All right, we're going to look at 4 texts today, and we're going to talk about visualizing them. So we're going to break down each of them and talk about the mental pictures that we see in our mind. We're going to start with number 1, which I will read aloud. Jordan ran her fingers through her blonde hair. The locks that used to be on her head were now scattered on the cement floor and down the back of the black cape she was wearing. As the hairstylist turned her around, she closed her eyes. She opened them a pinch, and her face grew bright with excitement. She loved her new short cut, with bangs barely covering her forehead. So let's think a little bit about what we visualize, or what kind of picture comes into your mind when I read this text. Let's read it one more time. Jordan ran her fingers through her blonde hair. In my mind, I see a picture of Jordan, a girl, running her fingers through her hair, right? She's excited. We also know that her hair is blonde. So maybe you see a girl with a blonde hair. She's running her fingers through her hair. The locks that used to be on her head were now scattered on the cement floor and down the back of the cape she was wearing. So this tells me that probably on the ground of the picture that I see in my head, I would see some hair. I also would see Jordan wearing a black cape as she's getting her hair done. As the stylist turned her around, she closed her eyes. So maybe you would see a visualization of somebody turning a salon chair around, and you see a girl with blonde hair and her eyes are closed. She opened them a pinch and her face grew bright with excitement. So maybe you see somebody with their eyes closed and they open them up and they're super excited. She loved her new short cut with bangs barely covering her forehead. And in this, the author tells us that Jordan has a short haircut and that she has bangs that barely cover her forehead. So in this story, we're able to visualize or see a pretty good image of this scene, right? So let's think about visualizing that. On your paper next to number 1, let's talk about what we just described and visualize. So we could write, I read that Jordan had blonde hair and was getting it cut, right? She was sitting in a salon chair and had a black cape on. What else happened? Oh, her hair, let's say her cut hair, on the ground. Also know that Jordan was excited about her new haircut. Jordan was excited about her short haircut and bang. Jordan, also say Jordan was excited about her new short haircut and bangs. Text helped me visualize this story, right? So when we read the text, we saw all these different details that helped us see the story and helped us visualize the story. Let's go ahead and look at number 2 on the right. The snake slithered in the long green grass. It neared the edge of the water, but retreated when a small boy flew by, tennis shoes pounding hard against the rocks surrounding the pond. The snake waited for the boy to pass and slithered again onto the rocks near the water. He lay baking in the sun until a group of children startled him with their screams from the playground slide. So in our second text, already I can visualize a snake slithering in the long green grass, right? I can see a picture of a snake slithering or moving in grass. I can also see the setting of where it is. It neared the edge of the water, but retreated when a small boy flew by, so I can see the snake jumping back. Tennis shoes pounding hard against the rocks surrounding the pond. More of the setting. The snake waited for the boy to pass and slithered again on the rocks near the water. I could see that snake moving to the new rocks. He lay baking in the sun until a group of children startled him with their screams from the playground. I could see a snake maybe taking a nap in the sunlight and then jumping up awake when kids startle him from the playground. So in this visualizing, there were a lot of adjectives that described the setting of this story that allowed us to think and see it in our minds. We're going to do 2 more together. I'm going to read through them, and I actually want you to try to draw the picture of what you see in your mind. Okay, what you visualize, I want you to draw it on a piece of paper. So I will read through it. You can pause the video to have that text there, and then you can try and draw a picture of what you see. David and Patrick were paired up to complete the chemistry science experiment. They were both a bit mischievous and mixed together the blue chemical and the red chemical, thinking a fun, fizzy purple color would result. Boy, were they wrong. Instead of a fun purple fizz, they ended up with purple slime covering their table and papers and a very displeased teacher. Okay, go ahead, pause the video and see if you can draw the visualization that you have in your head after reading that. If you need to reread the story again, you can do so. Click play when you're ready to review it. All right, so for your picture, hopefully you have the blue chemical, the red chemical, and the purple slime as a result. Maybe it looked something like this. I also have my displeased teacher right here looking down at the purple slime that the red and the blue chemical made that covered the table. Hopefully yours looked a little bit better than mine. Let's look at one more story, number 4. Go ahead and visualize as I read it. Jackie was up at bat next. She remembered what her dad had told her. Picture yourself hitting the ball and you can do it. So he did. All right, let's read one last story and visualize what's happening here. Jackie was up at bat next. She remembered what her dad had told her. Picture yourself hitting the ball and you can do it. So she did. She pictured herself on the diamond, red and white ball moving toward her in slow motion, and the swift movement of her elbow guiding the bat onto the ball. Suddenly, she realized it wasn't a visualization. She had hit the ball and it was time to take off running. Go ahead, pause the video, get your visualization in your head nice and clear, and draw what you see. Click play when you're ready to review it. All right, for our last story, hopefully you visualize that Jackie was up to play baseball. She's up at bat. She pictured herself hitting a white ball and then realized that it wasn't a visualization and that it was time for her to start running. So in my picture, I have Jackie. I have her imagining that she's hitting the ball, and then in real life, the ball's coming right for her and she's got to get ready to play. Hopefully your picture looks a little bit better than mine. Great job today. I will see you soon. Keep visualizing every time you read.